Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody doing? Let me remove this and get y'all to where you see me. There it is. Good evening, everybody in Titan Nation. Welcome into a brand new edition of Titans and Truth. I am your host, Chris, AKA Blu Enforcer. And we are going to have a great episode for you this evening. Kind of an impromptu episode because I know I told y'all a couple of weeks ago that I was going to be on a very small hiatus for a couple of weeks. But with some things that have been developing within the Tennessee Titans with training camp, I decided to go ahead and do a show. And I know a couple of people were wondering if I was going to do a show. So because of you, the fans, because of you, I decided, you know what? I think I can pull a show together in a couple of hours. And by God, I think we might have just done that. AZ Mick, what's up? King Isaac, what's going on? Shaolin Fantastic. And I know more of you are going to be pouring in as this show gets started. You're also going to probably be seeing some people watching on Facebook. What's up, Facebook? Come on in. And we're going to get this show started. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot to talk about with the Titans. There's a few things that have happened. So let's get right into the TNT news of the day and of the week. But also make sure y'all remember you can follow, of course, on the TNT Blu Enforcers page. The TNT Enforcers page, excuse me. Also on Instagram at Titans_N_truth and on Twitter at TNT Blu Enforcer, as well as you can see right there on the bottom of your screen. So it's right there for you too. Definitely make sure y'all are following those sites for any details and any content that we have coming. I'm probably going to be putting out a post on both sites about our new quarterback that we're about to get into in just a bit. And that is what we're going to kick things off with, is the fact that the Tennessee Titans have signed a new backup quarterback in the name of former Denver Bronco, former Minnesota Viking, and New York Jet quarterback Trevor Siemian. He is now a new Tennessee Titan quarterback, and with adding Trevor Siemian to the mix, I'm actually going live for Instagram for just a moment. But with that, with Trevor Siemian being signed, they decided to cut the 7th-round draft pick we just drafted in Cole McDonald. They cut him, and also they signed former Jags tight end Jeff Swam. Not very familiar with him at all. But the big story is, of course, Trevor Siemian is now the backup quarterback to Ryan Tannehill, and that they cut Cole McDonald. And you know what? I mean, I think this is a good move to bring in Trevor Siemian. I mean, we need a backup quarterback to back up Ryan Tannehill, who could come in a pinch if Tannehill goes down for any reason due to injury. But at the same time, I kind of wonder about this move. I'm thinking, well, why in the world are the Titans giving up so quickly on Cole McDonald? I mean, you just drafted him. He didn't have an off season at all. I mean, you should give this kid time to develop, even if it's on the practice squad. Cut Logan Woodside. Quit with this unwavering faith that you have in Logan Woodside. But at the same time, I actually texted, and I got a good nugget from my guy, TD Teron Davenport from ESPN Titans reporter. And, basically he said, look, Cole McDonald threw 2 interceptions in the first padded practice on Monday. Basically was like, look, and I'm paraphrasing what he was texting me because I have the text, but I really I can't read it because I'm actually doing Instagram, but I'm gonna read it for you in just a moment. But basically, in a nutshell, I mean, Cole McDonald just hasn't looked good, and they decided to go with the veteran. And I mean, I hope he gets brought back on the practice squad at some point, because I mean, I would like to see him at least get a chance to develop and at least learn the system. And I think at the same time, they're basically saying that Trevor Siemian, he could come in a pinch. Cole McDonald's obviously not ready. And County Boy, True Titan for Life, basically says, what's that say about Woodside? And that's a good question. I'm like, all this time, the Titans were bragging so much about Woodside, like he's the backup quarterback. What does that say about him? Basically, like I said, this is what I would have done. I would have signed Trevor Siemian, cut Logan Woodside, and let Cole McDonald go to the practice squad, because you're not carrying 3 or 4 quarterbacks on the roster. And I see Instagram has popped in. Peter28 coming in. If you're on Instagram, come on over to YouTube and join us there. I'm just doing a little quick excerpt on Instagram, just to kind of, let it be known that the show is going on. So that's basically what I was doing. And I'm just making sure I share to Instagram what's happening. But yeah, I mean, that, like, I can bring up the text right now. This is what Teron texted me earlier, because I said, I see we cut Cole McDonald. Any reason why so quickly? They should have just cut Woodside and gave Cole a chance to develop. I can also understand it's about continuity and the lack of camp time before now. This is what TD said, and I quote, McDonald threw 2 interceptions the first padded practice. He was overhyped, to be honest. Should not cut Woodside. That was exact quoted text from TD, from Teron Davenport. That is exactly what he texted to me when we were talking about this. So, I mean, I was like, I did not know Cole McDonald looked that bad, but obviously it looked like, Logan Woodside didn't look much better. So, that does say a lot. We're definitely going to find out. Let's see. Jameson, what's up? Tighten up. Ms. Margarita, how you doing? Welcome back. And Ms. Margarita, I have to give you a lot of credit, because you're the one that reached out to me wondering if I was going to do a show today. I originally wasn't going to, but I said, you know what? With the few things that are going on, I think I can help the people out and throw something together. And this is what we got. Let's see. Minnesota Titan says, happy belated birthday. I appreciate that. Yes, I did have a birthday on Monday. So I thank every last one of y'all for any text, any message on Facebook. I tried my best to answer every last one of them. Thank y'all from the bottom of my heart on that. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Titans Mafia says, what's up? Jameson says, don't understand the release of McDonald. Feels like we wasted a 7th-round pick. That's an excellent point. King Isaac said, I'm mad we got Siemian. Let's see. Titans time says, tighten up. I'm like, what's up? Chris Frazier, what's going on? Ms. Margarita says, you do a good job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Minnesota Titan says, Hawaiians gonna hate Tennessee soon. That is true. On Facebook says, wasted pick on McDonald. I agree. That definitely could be something. So we're definitely going to see what transpires from that particular move. Keeping going with what's going on, obviously, I'm actually going to skip a little bit to Clowney Watch 2020 a little bit before we go into training camp. And really, there's nothing to report on Jadeveon Clowney, although news came out, I want to say last week, that now physicals can be done on impending free agents, on guys that are on the market right now. Teams can bring in guys for physicals. So, like right now, we could bring in Jadeveon Clowney for a physical. I mean, obviously he'll have to make sure he passed a COVID test and all of that, but they could bring him in for a physical right now. And as you can see, radio silence, because obviously that could mean something is going on. It could mean nothing's going on. We haven't heard anything just yet. The report is that, Clowney's going to have to come down from $17 million, which is something that I don't think any team is going to match. So he could be had for a much lower price. We're going to find out when it does come to that. But, I mean, right now, Jadeveon Clowney, still a free agent, still out there. Let me see. Didn't mean I was checking something out right there. But right now, nothing new to report on Jadeveon Clowney. Hopefully they do bring him in. I mean, they brought in another pass rusher last week, a guy by the name of Wyatt Ray, which I know Titan Upload kind of did a quick video about, formerly with the Cleveland Browns, I guess on their practice squad. I mean, I don't really know who Wyatt Ray is. I mean, I don't think it really matters that they brought him in. Of course, Vic Beasley did show up at camp finally. And I think right now has not passed a physical yet. So he's on the NFI list, the non-football injury list, because he can't pass a damn physical. So I'm kind of getting to this point. I'm kind of getting tired of Vic Beasley right now. I mean, Vic Beasley is looking like a waste of a move right there. So I really don't like that. Cali Boy says our backup quarterback situation has me concerned. It's a bigger deal than people realize. True. That's true, but I mean, I guess they figure that's the best guy on the market. Trevor Siemian is a journeyman quarterback at best, Jameson says. So we better hope Ryan Tannehill don't get hurt. Big O says, hit that like button. And I agree. Hit that like button. I want y'all to smash that like button. I want to get 25 likes on here. So hit it up, share the show, do what you got to do. Help me get those likes up, y'all. Minnesota Titan says, why not sign Case Keenum, call it a day? Or King Isaac says, should have hit up Cap. I mean, they don't want no drama with Cap. Even though I'm like, Kaepernick does deserve a shot, but think about where we are. We're in the Bible Belt. People are going to trip. I mean, the country's already crazy right now with a lot of things going on. Bringing Kaepernick in would bring more maybe division than unity. I don't know. But let's see. Joseph says still waiting on Clowney to sign with us. Now, I know there's rumor that the Cowboys might be trying to get in on him and stuff like that. I don't know what's going to happen with Clowney. I mean, I would wish him and his agent would make up their freaking mind and come on home to Tennessee and just end this. But we'll see what happens with that. But let's now go into the fact that training camp is in full swing. They started their first padded practice on Monday. They had a practice yesterday. They were off today, and then they'll be resuming practice tomorrow. So camp is in full swing. Corey Davis passed the physical. He's off the PUP list. Isaiah Wilson's back out on the field. They brought in another pass rusher as well, Jamal Davis, who was on a practice squad, I think, formerly with the Miami Dolphins, somebody that I think Vrabel recruited to Ohio State, something like that. That's another guy that they've brought in. I know they brought in a few other guys as well, as far as some positions, because we're only at 80 roster spots that we can have. Let's see. King Isaac says if Simeon's in the game, it's over. We just need somebody who can hand the ball to Derrick Henry. That's about it. Titans Mafia says, what about trading for Leonard Williams? Woo! I would love Leonard Williams. And here's the craziest thing about what you just said, Titans Mafia. When I played Madden, think of what I have done. I got Leonard Williams on the Tennessee Titans, and I did trade Jarrell Casey, to get him off the books because it was a lot of money, and I needed somebody to re-sign Leonard Williams to a big deal. But I mean, Leonard Williams didn't have a bunch of snaps in my game, and he still tallied 13 sacks, 30 tackles, and 13 sacks. And he didn't even play the whole time, the whole season. So I like that. And I mean, I would try to trade for a guy like a Shane Ray. I traded for him, and he gave me double-digit sacks too, along with Landry. So that's kind of funny. I would love Leonard Williams, because I was thinking in the Mariota draft, I was hoping that they would try to take a shot at Leonard Williams, because I want to see Leonard Williams and Jarrell Casey together. But still, now I would love to see Leonard Williams and Jeffrey Simmons together. That's what I would love to see. Jameson says, Clowney, be nice to have a decision either way. I agree. I mean, it's either he's in or out. If he's out, just say it already and we move on. I do agree with that. But with training camp in full swing, there are position battles that are going on, and who's going to make the roster, who's going to take whose position. And this is some roster battles that I think are out there. And these are just a couple of ones that I came up with. If y'all have any other ones in mind, talk to me. But the main position battle that I think is out there is for that right tackle spot between Dennis Kelly and Isaiah Wilson. So you got The Undertaker, who says, rest in peace. Or you got Big Panda, Isaiah Wilson, who just looks like a mammoth of a man out there on the field. And I saw him had a pretty good rep. I want to say against Jeffrey Simmons, had a pretty nice rep against him that I saw on some video. And I also want to say shout out to Mike Keith and Amy Wells over on the OTP podcast. They were able to provide us a little bit of training camp coverage, and some of the media outlets gave us some love too, as far as showing a little bit of stuff that's going on in camp that is allowed to be shown with that. But again, I'm looking at Dennis Kelly versus Isaiah Wilson. Maybe the battle for those last two roster spots. You got Cam Batson, Rashad Davis, Mason Kinsey, Mason Kinsey, who's an undrafted free agent, Christian Wilkerson, an undrafted free agent from Southeast Missouri State. I believe they brought in some other guys. I believe a guy named Kenshaw, I could bring him up right now, a Kenshaw Hogan, as well as Cody Hollister, obviously, are some guys that are back there, because you're looking at the top four being, of course, Brown, Davis, Humphreys, and Khalif Raymond. And then you got to have two more guys back there as well. So that's something that could be a position battle. Also, punt returner is another thing. Do they stay it safe and go with Adam Humphreys, or do they go with a Cam Batson or a Khalif Raymond, who has done a little bit of punt return? Maybe even Darrington Evans, who has experience with kickoff return, not necessarily punt return. Or do they roll the dice and go back to Adoree as a punt returner? I mean, I know we all remember the Jacksonville game last year that Adoree completely messed up on a punt return. So, I mean, I think that would be the last resort as far as that. And last but not least, again, the third defensive lineman that can line up besides Big Jeff and Daquan Jones. I'm not very confident in Jack Crawford, which I believe he's on the reserve COVID-19 list. So I think we need another defensive lineman that can line up beside him. I know there's Isaiah Mack. I know there is Ivy, as well as Matt Dickerson, I want to say, and a few other guys that could line up in that defensive line spot. And I'm actually going over to the Titans website to look at, possibilities as far as other defensive linemen who, are on the team as we speak. Let me see, Joey Ivy. Oh, I forgot all about Laurel Murchison. Laurel Murchison, I think, has a great shot, maybe at starting. I don't know if he'll start right away, but I think he has a good chance to make some noise. I like what I've seen from Isaiah Murchison, at least coming off tape from NC State. So that's something that could be definitely looked at. Let's see. Joseph says we should let Derrick Henry be our backup quarterback. Okay, Derrick Henry threw one touchdown pass. I don't know if that means being a quarterback, even though he does run the Wildcat very well. Ms. Margarita says Panda was not playing in practice. Dude is huge. Yeah, he is. That is a mammoth of a man. I mean, Isaiah Wilson's huge. No doubt about that. But can he move, guys, is going to be the question. Cali Boy says, Raymond's name keep popping up when asked who stands out. Now, I know there have been, I think Buck Rising and some others have reported, talking about who is the most overhyped Titan player. And I think Khalif Raymond is a guy that has been brought up that maybe is a bit overhyped, even though he only had like 9 catches. And yes, a couple of them were touchdowns. And he does have that speed. But maybe he's a guy that we're putting a little bit too much stock in right off the bat. So that could be something. We'll definitely have to find out. Let's see. Jameson says Vic Beasley has been nothing but problems since training camp has started. I agree. I don't know if they could void that contract. Obviously, he's reported to camp and everything, but if he can't pass a physical, I'm thinking, can they void the contract? And that might be something I could ask Teresa Walker or TD about and get some information. On Facebook, it says Adoree has already proven he needs to focus on defense. Agreed, because Adoree has been our best corner besides Logan Ryan. But, I mean, yes, Adoree should probably focus more on defense instead of punt return. So, I mean, that's something that could happen. See, Ty Mafia says, don't sleep on Wilkerson. That's Christian Wilkerson, a wide receiver. Let's see. Facebook says, let's see. Herman Burns coming and say, I agree, McDonald was a waste. Yeah, and I'm afraid that was what happened. I mean, waste of a pick. And, that's something that I will probably talk about later on. But those are just some of the battles that I think could happen in camp. What do y'all think are any other battles that maybe I didn't think about or anything like that? Who, is on that back end of the roster that could make some noise? I mean, remember, there's no preseason games, so that's less opportunities for some of these rookies and undrafted free agents to really show who they are. Does Chris Jackson get into the mix as far as being that third or fourth corner in the nickel or dime situation? Another one, does Christian Fulton beat out Malcolm Butler and start on the outside as opposed to the inside? Which I think those are going to be interchangeable with Jackson, Butler, and Fulton. I think that's going to be interchangeable. There are going to be times where you have Jackson and Fulton on the outside, Butler on the inside. There are probably going to be times where it's Jackson and Butler on the outside, Fulton on the inside. Or, I'm sorry if I said that already. I meant to say Jackson, Fulton on the outside, Butler on the inside. There may be time where it's Butler and Fulton on the outside and Jackson is on the inside. You can see where that could be ever changing as far as that situation. So let me know what y'all think as far as some of the big training camp battles that could be happening over these next few weeks leading up to the beginning of the year. But now it is time for Pick My Brain. Pick My Brain. So let's see some questions out there. What y'all thinking, or what are some questions y'all want to ask me out there on this impromptu Titans and Truth? So let me see what happens with that. Let's see. Chris Fraser says Chris Jackson looking good. And Chris, we gotta talk. I want to know how you get your footage. Are you at practice and I don't know about it? How you get credentialed? I need to know. I gotta see how you got it. Honestly, I gotta see what's up. And everything. So I gotta see what's going on with that. How you doing it? Let's see, Jameson says Isaiah Wilson got caught napping by Taylor Lewan. Jameson, make sure you share that on the TNT Enforcers page or on Twitter or Instagram if you can. With that, I want to see that. Cali Boy says, does Nate Davis step up or do we keep Kelly at right tackle and move Wilson to guard? Well, you got to remember, yes, Nate Davis did get off to a slow start, and I know, there are people that think Nate Davis really ready to be the starting left, right guard. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, he struggled in the beginning, but I mean, Nate Davis started playing well as the year went on. I mean, as the year went on, things started to get better for excuse me, things started to get better for Nate as the year went on. Yes, it got off to a rocky start for him, but as the year went on, I think he got better as the time went on. But now I think with more reps with the first team, I think he could be better about that. So that's something that he could definitely do nothing but improve, in my honest opinion. Chris says the safety spot. I mean, the safety spot, I think, is fine. I mean, we got Byard, we got Vaccaro, then behind them, you got Crookshank and Hooker. So I think safety is the last spot that I'm worried about. On Facebook, they said, do we have to worry about Evans' fumbles? I didn't really know that Darrington Evans was having some fumbleitis issues or anything. That might be something to be concerned about. And Chris, yes, I am talking about your pictures of videos, but that's something we could talk about off air. Definitely. Vibe Runner says, how do you feel about Beasley? Right now, Beasley needs to prove a lot, because right now I'm like, J-Rob might have wasted $6 million on a guy we could have gotten Clowney instead earlier, instead of Beasley, who has just done nothing but cause problems the second that training camp started. So I don't know what to really think of Vic Beasley right now. I'm not really liking the return that we're getting. I mean, we're taking a chance on this guy, and basically Vic Beasley is like, this is the thanks we get for taking a chance on you after Atlanta dumped you, and you're just going to act like, well, one, you're not going to show up to the beginning of camp. Two, you don't say anything to anybody. And then three, you come in and you fail a physical. I'm like, come on. I mean, that's kind of wasting away a great talent, of God-given talent. So I don't like that. Facebook says, how important will Hooker's development be to the defense? I think Hooker could play a very important role as a dime linebacker or as a extra defensive back to make 6 defensive backs. He could play a big role, especially against tight ends. So we'll definitely see about that. Of course, King Isaac said, I'm not a big fan of Nate. Chris Frey says Kenny is hurt. So I guess that means Vaccaro went down a little bit. So I guess that means Hooker's going to have to step up. And that's where Chris Jackson could come into play and things like that. So, I mean, I think we have some depth, and that's what exactly we need to use it for. Bhavin Patel says Vic Beasley equals Michael Beasley. Yeah, that could be correct. I mean, it seemed like them Beasleys could be a problem. Titans Mafia says, how much confidence do you have in Corey Davis? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna go about a 6. I think Corey Davis will recover, and I think Corey Davis can still have a very good year. The only problem is if he doesn't have a big time year, Titans are not going to bring him back. If he has a great year, he might be too expensive for the Titans to bring back. So what I think needs to happen is, yes, AJ should take off and be the number 1 receiver, and maybe Corey Davis gets about 900 to maybe close to 1,000 yards and maybe 6 or 7 touchdowns. And at least if AJ Brown has about 70 grabs, Corey needs to have at least another 60 grabs and close to 1,000 yards to say, you know what, maybe we should keep this guy. So that's something that we could definitely try to check out. Vibe Runner says Davis coming off of toe surgery. I know Corey Davis was coming off of toe surgery, and then he passed his physical, so he's able to be on the field. So, I mean, we're definitely going to see. We'll definitely find out what becomes of Corey Davis. Give me just a minute, y'all. I'll be right back in just a second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to cut my fan up a little bit to get some air, getting a little hot. So, yeah, I have confidence that Corey Davis can turn it around, but we want to have a good year. We don't want to have a bad year, but we don't want to have a great year because, again, if he has a bad year, he's out of there. We can cut him and draft a wide receiver in the first round in the next draft, which, I hear there's some good wide receivers that could be there. Depending on how the college football season tends to work out. But if he has a great year, he'll be too expensive for us to bring back. So that's something that could be a bit of a concern. Looks like that's all the questions that we have right now for Pick My Brain. Let's see. Jameson comes in with one more. What do you think about trading for Melvin Ingram? We could use a pass rusher if the Chargers are having problems getting him done. I wouldn't mind. Can't hurt because I know that Yannick Ngakoue is possibly on the move, and reports are that the Jags have a solid offer on the table, but we know that Yannick Ngakoue ain't gonna get traded within the division. Right now, the word is that the Jets are the team that could be the team that Yannick Ngakoue goes to. So if Yannick Ngakoue goes to the Jets, they're not going to be in the Clowney conversation because they'll have their guy. That is something that something to monitor as far as that. But Melvin Ingram, if he's out there, he's available. Hey, I wouldn't mind. It couldn't hurt. He's a pretty good pass rusher besides Joe on the opposite side of Joey Bosa. Not great, but not bad either. So that's all the time it looks like we have for Pick My Brain. I appreciate the questions that we got in. Any other questions, just hit up on Facebook, and then we will of course I'll answer those off air. Let's see. I believe I want to thank Juan Delgado, aka Two Tone Fett, on Facebook, and also Herman Burns on Facebook with the questions as well. And everything on Facebook. And thank everybody for tuning in who's on Facebook as well as YouTube. Thank y'all for tuning in so far. But last but not least, to kind of end the show, there's a couple of things I wanted to bring up. First off, is the announcement came down from Mayor Cooper in Nashville that there will be no fans allowed. There will be no fans allowed at Nissan Stadium for the first home game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as a lot of you probably know or not know, I'm a season ticket holder. But of course, when they gave the option of, if you wanted to keep your tickets or get a refund or defer, with me being in Memphis, I decided to defer my tickets to next season and everything. And this is why. And I know a lot of you are probably going to say, that's not being a dedicated fan. You should want to go to every game through and through. Trust me. Y'all know me well enough. I love this team so much that I get up sometimes on back-to-back Sundays, drive 3 hours on I-40 East to go to games, and then turn around and drive 3 hours I-40 West back here to Memphis. And I did that for every game last year. And I will continue doing that this year. The only problem is because of COVID-19 and what COVID-19 has done to my country, done to this country, and just to kind of put this out, and I apologize, I know my wife doesn't like, business getting out there, but, my wife and my mother-in-law, they have pre-existing conditions. And, the fact of the matter is, yes, of course I can go up 3 hours to Nashville to go to a football game and enjoy myself. But I don't want to risk, getting COVID-19 and then bringing it back here, and one of them or both of them get COVID-19 because of me. I wouldn't want anything to happen to my family, as I'm sure plenty of you would not want anything to happen to yourself or your loved ones or anything like that, because we've already lost so many people to this disease as it is. We have lost well over 178,000 people to this disease in this country alone. Way too many lives lost. And so that was one of the reasons why I deferred to next season. I deferred my payments to next year. And I guarantee you, with everything, once everything is back to normal completely, I will be at Titan Games again. That much is a fact. I can guarantee you that. There's no way I would miss Titan Games. No. So I will be right here watching, screaming at the television, as I always do, with my Titan pride all the way on. Another thing I wanted to mention, of course, was Cole McDonald. Hate that he didn't get an opportunity. We talked about it earlier, but I just feel like that was a wasted pick. That's the second late round quarterback that J-Rob has picked that ended up not even making the roster as a rookie or anything like that. So I'm starting to wonder about his pick of backup quarterbacks late, but it is what it is. Cole McDonald maybe didn't look as good, and they decided to go with a guy that could come in a pinch. They maybe thought that Cole McDonald isn't ready yet. So that's that on that. Let's see. Jameson says, I will hunt down that video or story for you. Might take me a few minutes. Hey, if you find out something, let me know. Chris Frey said, you could take me to one. Let's see. Blavin Patel says, you should live stream you watching the games. Maybe I should. On Facebook said, that's why the wife and I will not travel to any games this year. COVID. And I definitely understand that. COVID is a major concern. And it's something that we all need to take very, very seriously if we haven't already. Because, I know a lot of people out there, will think, well, I'll be fine. COVID ain't affecting me or nothing like that. But you got to be careful, because it doesn't really hit you until it really hits you. When it hits home, you be singing a whole different tune. That much I assure you. But what's up, Derek Roberts? How's it going? But last but not least, before we get out of here, there's something I wanted to show everybody. Y'all might have seen this on Facebook. If you haven't, get ready for it, because this shows you my dedication. Hold on just a second. Now, I'm not stripping on television. Not what I'm doing. Not at all. But I wanted to show y'all this right here. This is my latest tattoo I got done, as some of y'all may have already seen. I'm trying to take care of it, make sure everything is good, so that way it's still healing right now. But that is my Tennessee Titans tattoo. Just got it on Friday. I want to give a shout out to Inked Memphis on Highland Street. My guy, Mr. Jeremy, he was the one that did this tattoo for me and everything. And I mean, it came out really great with the swords crossing here. And this is a shield with the T and the 3 stars. I mean, it's a little bit different than what everybody's normally accustomed to, but this is the tattoo. Was a birthday present. My my wife helped me out with that, and it was something that I thought was needed. So there it is. That is my dedication to the Tennessee Titans with the tattoo. I mean, I know it doesn't look like the logo. It's a little bit different, but it's pretty cool. I see Titan Mafia says getting inked up. Derek Robinson says impressive. Chris Fraser says nice. I appreciate that very much. And I appreciate everybody watching this show. Again, y'all make sure y'all follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, I thank everybody for the birthday wishes these last few days. Thank you so much for all of that. Year 37 is starting off pretty good. So thank everybody for that. Charlotte Fantastic was in Memphis last weekend. You gotta let me know when you're in the town. Y'all gotta let me know. If you're here, we can link up. So y'all gotta let me know. But I thank everybody for the birthday wishes. Happy birthday to all of the Leos out there that's celebrating birthdays. I believe Cesar Beja is celebrating a birthday as well. So happy birthday to all the Leos out there. Happy birthday to my boy Philip. He had his birthday the other day and everything. So happy birthday to all the Leos out there. We are the kings and queens of the jungle. We rule. So everybody, that just about does it for tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in to Titans and Truth. I'm your man, Chris, AKA Blu Enforcer. And I am out of here. Sorry, Cali boys. No to Gemini. Good night, y'all. Leaving y'all with this.